What if one simple answer could change everything? No hints, no explanation. Just say yes or no, and see what that says about you. Start when you're ready. Here are the rules. Rule 1. You have 7 seconds to answer each question. Rule 2. Once you say yes or no, you can't change your choice. Yes equals you accept the dilemma. No equals you choose not to accept the dilemma. Rule 3. Keep count. How many times did you say yes?
Would you say yes to world peace if it meant you lose your phone forever? Would you say yes to saving a stranger's life if it costs you $1,000? Would you say yes to taking your dream job abroad if it means you never see your family again? Would you say yes to donating a kidney to save a stranger if it means you cannot work for 6 months? Would you say yes to revealing a close friend's dangerous secret to the authorities if it would protect many people? Would you say yes to accepting a large donation for your community, knowing the money comes from an industry that destroys the environment? Would you say yes to lying to protect a loved one from serious, non-violent consequences? Would you say yes to publicly taking the blame for a company mistake if it prevents thousands from losing their jobs? Would you say yes to giving up your sense of taste forever if the money funds a cure for a deadly disease? Would you say yes to allowing permanent government access to your personal data if it guaranteed no violent crimes in your city? Would you say yes to erasing all your painful memories if that also erased your happiest memory? Would you say yes to spending all your savings to keep a hospital open for a year? Would you say yes to accepting a promotion that requires you to fire a close colleague? Would you say yes to sacrificing your reputation publicly to expose corruption that would otherwise continue? Would you say yes to donating your entire salary for 5 years to fund education for thousands of children? Would you say yes to keeping quiet about a minor crime you witnessed to avoid ruining someone's life, even if it risks future harm to others? Would you say yes to giving up your child's college fund to pay for a stranger's life-saving surgery? Would you say yes to agreeing to a 1-year restriction on your personal freedoms if it ensured a loved one's medical treatment? Would you say yes to becoming extremely wealthy if it required you to cut off contact with your best friend forever? Would you say yes to revealing your partner's secret if doing so would prevent harm to another person? Would you say yes to giving up 10 years of career advancement to train and mentor thousands of young people? Would you say yes to donating your house to a family in need and living in a small rented room forever? Would you say yes to taking the blame for a crime you did not commit to prevent a dangerous person from being released? Would you say yes to blowing the whistle on illegal activity at work, knowing it would ruin your career but stop further harm? Would you say yes to cutting off all your social media to end online harassment for many victims? Would you say yes to selling a treasured family heirloom to pay for medical treatment for someone you do not know? Would you say yes to undergoing a risky medical procedure that could save many lives but might shorten your own lifespan? Would you say yes to using your influence to benefit many people if it would harm a few others' livelihoods? Would you say yes to making your private messages public if it would reunite missing children with their families? Would you say yes to giving up your right to vote for 5 years if it would prevent a war? Would you say yes to forgiving someone who harmed you if it would bring peace between two communities? Would you say yes to taking in a refugee if doing so might put your household at risk? Would you say yes to donating your genetic information to help develop a cure, even though your genetic data would become public? Would you say yes to quitting your job to care full-time for a sick stranger if it meant losing your long-term career? Would you say yes to exposing a loved one's misconduct publicly if it destroys their career but protects many others? Would you say yes to releasing confidential files to stop serious human rights abuses, knowing several innocent employees will lose their jobs? Would you say yes to sacrificing your dream of parenthood to fund a program that eliminates child hunger in a region? Would you say yes to participating in a medical study where you will be deceived if the results could save thousands of lives? Would you say yes to accepting a treatment that cures a loved one but changes their personality so they are no longer the same person you knew? Would you say yes to supporting a law that bans a pastime you love if statistics show it would save lives? How many times did you say yes? Did your answers surprise you? Share your score in the comments and challenge a friend to take this test. There's no right answer here, only what you would do. See you in the next round. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell. More yes or no coming every week.